Okay, so now let's add some music and do some basic audio editing to our how-to video. I've included a free song for y'all to use in the video. Let's go ahead and make sure my audio, me speaking in the video, is where we want it to be. So what you're gonna do is click on the first clip that you think where I'm actually speaking what would be considered my speaking voice. For my timeline, it's gonna be this clip again, right about here. And then we're gonna go to the Essential Sound panel, and we're gonna highlight the clip, the audio specifically, and we're gonna mark it as dialogue because I'm speaking. So over here to the right is our audio meter, and as I'm speaking, you can see that the volume of my voice and how much is being picked up is being registered by the audio meters. And it's pretty good. It's looking like it's averaging right around. So it looks like I am peaking at my loudest. I'm right around -10 dB or so. And that's okay. I think usually what I try to strive for with my audio, with my dialogue specifically, I usually want to have my dialogue sit comfortably between -12 and -6. I want to kind of stay there. The lowest it kind of goes when I'm speaking is -12, and the highest it kind of goes is -6, -3 at its peak, but obviously you never want to be hitting 0 and peaking too much. Yeah, right now I'm peaking at -10, which is a little too low. So what I'm going to do is I am going to raise the volume, and you can do that by clicking and dragging on this little line. You'll see how my cursor has transformed to adjust the volume level. So I'm gonna add just like 2.8 dB to my volume and see where that puts me with our meters.
Police endeavoring to persevere. As always, if you're new here, I make videos about my chaotic good life. Subscribe, follow, social media.
I still feel like I'm a smidge low. As you can see, the highest the volume went was what looks like -7 dB or so. So I can go a little bit louder than that. Let's go to about 5.2 or so. That's not too bad. I still feel like I'm a smidge too low, but I think that's pretty good. We can go up a little more. Let's go up to 8.
Videos about my chaotic good life. Subscribe, follow, social media, all of that.
That's looking pretty good. So we're peaking in this clip anyway, specifically. We're peaking at -4, which is pretty good. And so I'm gonna go ahead and apply this level to most of the audio because again, I speak pretty similarly through most of the video, and I think it should be fine. So we're gonna copy, Command-C, Control-C, hey, hit our A key, and then hold down Shift so it just does the audio. If for some reason yours is doing the audio and the video, that's okay. With everything highlighted, hit Command-L or Control-L to unlock the video from the audio. But again, we'll do A, hold down Shift. It should just do our audio track, our A1 audio track, which is just me speaking. And then we're going to right-click and hit Paste Attributes. And so with this, we just want, which attributes do we want to paste from that original clip onto the rest of these? The only attribute we want to paste to it is the volume, the audio volume that we've used. So we don't want any of this essential sound stuff over here to go on there or anything like that. We just really want the volume, channel volume, and pan. And then we're going to hit OK. And you see, it adjusted all of them now to be at that level. All right, so that's pretty loud, right? When I'm putting the leca balls into the vase, that's kind of loud. It's kind of grating on the ears. Even though the audio is balanced for me talking, that section, that little smidge is kind of loud. So with that, let's make just that part, make just this part where the balls are hitting the vase. Let's make that like not so loud. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the P on our keyboard. P is in pen. which is for the pen tool. And similarly to the keyframes, how we've used before, we're going to use keyframes on just this audio track to fix it. And then we're going to hit V to go back to our selection tool. And then we're going to drop it down. And we just click and drag on it to drop it down. Say something falls while you're filming or something like that. You can adjust using the pen tool and creating these keyframes to lower and raise the volume. And if you want the volume to come back up slowly, you can stretch out how long it takes for it to come back up to where you had it before. Or if you want it to be kind of fast, you can shorten it. Really simple, really easy to do. Now let's add some music to our video. So we're gonna go to our song and we're just gonna drag and drop it. You know, drag and drop it where you want it to start officially. Obviously make sure that you're not overlapping any of the dialogue that you were speaking, that I'm speaking in the video, because you want this to complement it. What I usually do for my audio editing is that I always use the essential sound panel for this, and I highlight the music, make sure the music is highlighted, and then I assign what it is. I tag the music, and so I tag it as music. You noticed I tagged my stuff as dialogue, because it's me talking, and then I'm going to tag the music now as music. And that doesn't change anything to it, it just lets Premiere know this is music. And then I'm going to use, this is the preset I use for a lot of the music whenever I'm just adding it to my videos. Balanced background music. That immediately dropped the volume of the music itself. Or I still think it's a little too loud, but that helped a lot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use our pen tool again, hit P on your keyboard, and create some keyframes. 2 on one side of my cold open intro, and then 2 on the other side of where I start talking. You'll remember that this is the fun little intro recreated before. So now I'm going to hit the V tool, V as in Victor, to get our selection tool, and I'm going to drop the music on either side. And I'm going to drop it down to about -14 dB. Maybe a little lower, yeah, around -14, -15. It's not an exact science. And so now once we get to my little cold open, I want the music to come back up. I'm gonna make this crescendo a little bit more pronounced on both sides. To make sure it stays even, hold the shift key while you move the keyframes. And then I'm also gonna turn this up way louder, because remember we already put the balanced background music, so that lowered it across everything anyway. So we can turn it up quite a bit. Now, let's go back a little further and play. And if we look over at our waveforms, we saw that the music was right around -9-ish, hitting right around there, which is what you want. And then you notice as soon as I start talking again, I drop the music back down. So that's pretty good. Obviously, though, this song does not go for the entirety of the video. So what we can do is we can copy paste it just point blank to finish off the rest of the timeline. Make sure A2, where the music is selected, is highlighted. Command-C, Control-C. Move to the end of the song. And you can hold down Shift to enable snapping to get to the end of where the song is. And then just Command V the rest of the way. Now you'll notice, wait, if I Command V, now I have that little intro audio work that I had done before, and I don't want that for the rest of them, right? Okay, good point, good point. So let's just copy paste it once, remove those. Right? Because we do like the audio level that it's at for the rest of the video. Now it's clear. Copy. Again, go to the end of it. Command V, Control V for PC to the end. And so now we have great background music while I am talking. To take it a step further, again, we can take our keyframes. In some sections, I didn't feel like what I was saying was interesting, but I wanted to show what I was doing and make sure people saw that. And in those sections, I think it's great to to let the music come up a bit again. So here's a section right here where I didn't really think what I was saying was important, but I wanted to make sure people saw me putting the balls into the vase. So at this point, I'm going to add 2 keyframes right towards the end of this clip where I'm talking, and then add another 2 keyframes towards the beginning of this clip where there's going to be audio. And you do that by hitting the pen tool, which is the P on your keyboard. P as in pen. And then we're going to hit the V key, V as in Victor, to go back to our selection tool. Click and drag it up a little bit. And there you go. Now you never really have that sort of awkward silence when you take away audio because you feel like what you're saying isn't useful. You can just bring the audio up in the music at those parts. And once again, take the time to go through and find where those parts are relevant for you. You don't want to do it too often, or if maybe nobody's talking for a second or two, it might not be worth it to do it then because it's a little too jarring to the audience. But I think at that part right there, it felt like a good place to let the music come back up and just sort of remind people that there is music in the background and remind people of the vibe that we're going for. So go ahead and do any other final audio editing tweaks you want to, because we are getting down to the wire. This video is pretty much done.